Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, we're going to talk about how to pull the data from multidimensional cube to RStudio. So once we get the data from cube to RStudio, then we can do a lot of wonders using the inbuilt R libraries like dplayer, data table, ggplot, and some other machine learning packages that we can use it, and we can do a lot of data analysis. But to bring the data from the cube, the multidimensional cube, so we need two mandatory tools that we need to install, and one is the optional. So the first one is the RStudio that you can download from the following site, and then also you need to download the Microsoft R client. This is also available in this location, and you can both can be installed simple way. There is no complexity. You can just click on the next, and then you can install them. Once you install them, make sure that you open the RStudio, then it's uh, connected to the list of the tools. Here you can check. You can go to the global options, and then here make sure that you connect it to the Microsoft R client. Okay, so to change the R client, you can click on the change, and then once you click on the change, then it will show you list of the R tools that been installed in your local. So in my scenario, I'm using the R 3.5.2 and Microsoft R client, right? So now I selected already the Microsoft R client, and it's already my studio is with the R client only. So for my scenario, there is no action required, but from your scenario, make sure that you choose the Microsoft R client version. And along with that, so you can also install the regular R. So in my scenario, I'm using 3.5.2, which is a pretty old version. In my local, because Microsoft R client that supports the to connect to the multidimensional cube is only available in 3.5.2. So after that, Microsoft didn't upgrade it to further. So to use along with regular R version. So that's the reason I'm using the 3.5.2 in my local. So installing the regular R is optional, because if you want to do your analysis, data analysis using the dplayer, data table, and ggplot2, you can go ahead and install it. But to connect the data to the cube and pull the data, so these two tools are enough, RStudio and Microsoft R client. So now without delay, let's get into the details of how we are going to pull the data from multidimensional cube. Before that, so here I prepared simple MDX query, where I'm trying to fetch the reseller sales amount and month and category level information. So now the same information, we are going to pull it in our RStudio. How are we going to do it? So first, to do download the data from the MOLAP cube, we need to load the OLAP R package. OLAP R package. So that is a gateway between the your RStudio as well as your multidimensional cube. So that package is already available. Once you install the Microsoft Client R, so this package is already available here. You can search, and this is already available, so you don't need to install anything extra. And along with that, there are some other libraries that Microsoft is providing here, so that use them, you can do some kind of analysis. But for now, let's focus to only the OLAP R. Now, so within the OLAP R, if we go to the help, under the help, if you see OLAP R, then you'll get the supported information related to the OLAP R package in here. It's typically called R documentation. Under that, you can see how you can prepare MDX query, how you can call your MDX queries. There are two ways that you can call your MDX queries. One is the using the execute MD function. So here it fetch the data from the cube and store your data in the array format, and the other one is the execute your data in 2D format, so that you can store the data into table format. So both will have the different criteria. Now let's see how we are going to pull, using these two functions, how we are going to pull the data from the cube. So let me go back here, and then what I'll do here, so already prepared some statements just for time saving purpose. Now I'll go through those statements. Now let me copy them, and here is the code that I already prepared. So what I'm doing here in the first step, here I'm building my connection string, which server I want to connect, and which cube I want to pull the data. So all those details I passed in this variable, connection string variable, and then I call that variable in my OLAP connection function. So that is the function will connect the enable the connection between the RStudio as well as the multidimensional cube. Now execute these two, so the connection is established to the my cube, right? So since I didn't get any error, that means the connection is established. And after that, what I did, I copied my MDX query, the sample index query that I prepared in my SSMS, this query, and passed it as a created as a one variable. The variable name is MDX query. Now if I execute this MDX query, so the MDX query is stored into this particular variable. So now what I'll do, the execute 2D is the function. So that will take the inputs of your OLAP connection as well as your MDX query, start fetching the data from the queue. So now I just trigger that. Now it fetch the data and store the data into this data table. Now you can see here on your on the right side, or you can use the view function to see the results in the table format in separate window. Now you can see here all the results are fetched from the queue, but the column names, if you see here, they are lengthy. They follow the MDX notation, right? So you can change those column names. In the next step, what I did, so I first fetch the names of the my data frame. You can see the 6 names are coming with lengthy names. Now what I'm doing, I'm just shortening those names by passing my name values in the vector format. So this is the vector in the RStudio. So this is how I'm passing and updating my column names of my results. Now it's updated. Now if I go ahead here and execute, you can see my data frame is updated with normal short names. Now the other one is, so what are the data types in my data frame that you need to know, right? So let me see what are the data types in my data frame. So all are received as a character values, right? So if it is a character value, we cannot do the analysis much, right? So now what we do for reseller sales amount, we convert them into numeric value instead of the character. To do that, you can write this statement as numeric, use the as numeric function to convert the data type from character to numeric. Now it's converted, and now again you can execute. So this time the reseller sales amount is converted to numeric. That's the reason it's bringing the summary of the results of that particular column. So here you can see what is the min value, what is the max value, mean, median, first coordinate, third coordinate, all those values it fetched. Now using that data frame, so you can simply display your graphs. So in my scenario, apart from Olapar, I didn't install anything. I'm plotting my graph using the uh, inbuilt function within the RStudio called plot. So by using the plot, I just build the one plot graph, and also I can build the line graph. Okay, so yeah, we need to look at this data in detailed way, but yeah, for now this is how you can build the plots and line graphs. That's how the execute 2D function works. So you can build any query here in the MDX query. Since for demo purpose I used a small query, but you can create any query dynamically, pass that query to cube and fetch the data based on your requirement. So now moving on, how are we going to use the execute MD function to fetch the data? So execute MD function works a little differently comparing with execute 2D, because execute 2D function will display the data in your 2D format, whereas the execute MD function will get the data in array format. So to run the execute MD function, we need to pass the values in the standard way. So first we need to define one variable, which is a query variable. Under that, you need to call the function query function with empty. So within the query function, you need to pass what is your cube variable, and what are your columns that you're going to fetch it, and what are the rows that you're going to fetch it from the cube, and the pages. So pages are nothing but at high level. So now this is how we prepare the query here, and now we just prepare the all necessary query details to the execute MD function. So now we call the execute MD function, then connection string, whatever we built it here, right? It's the same connection string. We called it here, and then the query. So this query variable is capturing all the list of the variables from here, and it will store into the query variable. Now we are going to execute this query and show the results in results data frame. Now if you execute, so you got the data and it's stored in array format. Now it's difficult to see here, right, on the right side. Now what I'll do, I'll store this data into my CSV format. Okay, so data is stored, whatever the results I got it here, I stored in CSV format. Now let me get the working directory. So that file is stored in documents folder. Let me get that file. Right, so where is that file? Let me open that file, edit in Notepad, because that is a CSV file, right? So I just open the data in Notepad. Now we can see here entire data that we fetched in the it stored the data in the array format. You can see here. Now you can use this data and feed it to your further algorithms wherever it consumes it, right? So this is how the two function execute 2D and execute MD help you to fetch the data from the multidimensional queue. In my scenario, in my real-time projects, I use execute 2D to do some data analysis, like picking up the outliers from the data, how the customer is performing the data, ups and downs, what is the how the data particular customer revenue is scattered across by using the scatter chart. What is the whether the customer is likely to report the revenue for the future months, and if it is so, then what will be the expected revenue. All these analysis we do using the R programming by using this OLAP R package. So the OLAP R is really very handy package in Microsoft Client R. It will allow you to fetch the data from the queue. Once you fetch the data, so you can use the regular R and then call those libraries and do your data analysis further. That's about this R programming, how you can call the data and fetch the data, do your analysis, simple analysis in your R Studio. That's all for now. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.